Greetings to you from wherever you're watching us tonight. This is the last edition of the show for this week. I'm Yemi Adebayo. Well, so much pleasure to be here with you tonight. There's a lot to talk about. The 2018 Winter Games, the opening ceremony, what a colorful opening ceremony it was. We'll be talking about that. And, you know, Nigeria's participation in that one on the show tonight. A lot of football for you on the domestic scene. 3 of our teams will be playing on the continent, talking about the CAF Champions League and the CAF Confederation Cup. We'll be talking about the teams that will be in action and the team that will not be playing for now. We'll also talk about the African Wrestling Championship currently going on. It's been good for Nigeria. Medals just coming in left, right, and center. And, you know, a lot of impressive performances from Nigerian wrestlers. We'll be talking about that all for you on the show tonight. But first, let's bring you into all that we're doing. We always like to let you know that you're a crucial part of this show. We want to have feedback. We want to know what you feel about some of the things that we've talked about already. Let us know some of the things you also think that we should be talking about on the show. That said, you can get across to us on Facebook, Channels Sports, and you can also get across to us, sending your tweets to the handles that you have right there on your screen. A lot of football on the show tonight. We will be talking about, well, maybe space thought for the Super Eagles, the unveiling of the jerseys. I know you still have a lot of things to say about that. We'll talk about that as well. So fill us in. Let us feel your pulse on the show. Well, before I go any further, let me quickly, introduce my partners on the show tonight. They will be with me for most part of the show. Let me start by introducing Joseph Mokuzi. Joseph, it's good to have you join us.
Always a pleasure. Great things this weekend. 3 of our teams on the continent. And our wrestlers making us proud. And 21 gold medals thus far. And we're looking forward to them winning more.
All right. And Alfredo Koligbe, always a delight having you on Friday. I'm very sure a lot on your mind as well. But let me welcome you to the show.
Very good evening, Yemi. It's a pleasure to be here. An exciting weekend is promises to be. Like Joseph mentioned, the continental engagement by 3 of the teams in the MPFL. Yeah. Now I call it the unleashing the power of the MPFL on Africa. This season, want to win something. All right. But whether the teams will rep us well there, we'll wait to see. But we wish them the very best.
All right. Wish them all the very best. We hope that something different is going to happen this time out. We're used to the familiar story. Apart from Enyimba last time out, we're used to the familiar story of our teams crashing out either in the preliminary rounds or, getting so close, but then yet so far for some of the teams. So let's start you off today talking about football on the continent, the CAF club competitions. Alfred Inted, 3 of our teams will be in action. Enyimba drawn by, so will not be in action in the CAF Confederations Cup for this round. And let's talk about the teams that will be involved. That's it on your screen. The hopes of, Nigeria resting on the shoulders. I hope it's broad enough, these 3 teams. For now, Plateau United in the CAF Champions League, MFM in the CAF Champions League, Aqua United in the CAF Confederation Cup. Let me start. Okay, before I start, let's take a look at the fixtures. Okay, that's it. Plateau United will take on Edin Sport, a team from Cameroon, founded in 2012, playing a 2,000 capacity stadium. You might want to say that it shouldn't be a problem. Football has taught us so many lessons. AS Real Bamako, that's the team that MFM will come up against. Some of us have some memories that have been colored with painful experiences with AS Bamako. We're hoping this time it's not going to be like that. Okay, so let's quickly take a look at the CAF Confederation Cup. This is the CAF Champions League. Take a look at the CAF Confederation Cup, and one of our teams also involved in that one. Okay, before we do that, guys, let's talk about this quickly. Let me start with Alfred. There's nothing easy as it looks. Sometimes some things look very easy on paper, but most of the time it's not.
I think for a team like MFM, they have their work cut out. I've had the opportunity of traveling to Mali twice. First, I think with Bayelsa United some years back. Okay. When Bayelsa United, this team, then it was the CAF Confederations Cup. They played a team from Bamako. I can tell you, the much I can tell you about their football is that they support their teams. On the night of the game, the entire stadium filled with white-wearing fans, ball fans, and the rest of them, and they can be very vociferous. And so it is that kind of situation or that kind of scenario that MFM will have to deal with. MFM, for me, the low point for me is thinking of Blato Bosu is not registered for the continent. That for me is something I can't just get my head around. But I think the kind of looking at all of your options, given the budget, shoelace budget like the club has, and perhaps what the aspirations are for the continent. You talked about the team from Cameroon playing a 2,000 capacity stadium. If you can play in that kind of situation, but your business is getting the business done on the field of play, you can excuse that. For MFM, I wait to see. We are looking at bringing in experience. That apart from Jonathan Zikiye and one other player, you look for the players, reinforcement brought in, not much. So they still the same set of players who have been playing for them from the lower league right to the Premiership. You can argue, yes, they are almost invincible at the Agege Township Stadium. But how well they travel, I think they look a decent side. Any victory or any defeat that is not more than 2 goals will be a good result for them.
Okay, I don't know if Joseph shares your position. But let me start by asking you, which one of these teams should our hopes rest on more? Some will argue that obviously it should be the Nigerian champions, Plateau United, by virtue of being champions. They should give us a credible representation. But for you, looking at the two teams, and
Plateau and MFM. I think Plateau has done quite well, and the way they've gone around, the league thus far, they've really shown that whatever they did last season was not a fluke, and they've raced to the top of the league, and now they are second, not about 2 points difference, and they've done quite well so far. And they're playing against the Cameroonian champion, Eding, and they won the league with 5 points to spare, and they're a good side. And one thing I like about what Plateau has done thus far is that they actually scouted. Boboye was there for about 3 weeks ago to scout on the Cameroonian team, so they are not taking them for granted. And if you look at the outlay of matches that they have, they know that this is definitely a game that they have to take serious. And the subsequent game, if they're able to survive this one, might even be more difficult. When you have a Etoile, queuing up for you, you know that you really have to be on top of your game.
Exactly.
So really, they understand what they are getting into. They understand that it's going to be very tough. It's not going to be easy. This is the Champions League. Getting into the group stage is massive. And they really are doing the right thing, ensuring that, we've not had any funny issues. The governor has been greatly supportive, and the team has been highly organized going forward. And the way they've comported themselves thus far, the way they've been able to get away results, and even close games at home, it shows that they're not just a sound team, they're a team that are ready for the continent. Yeah. I think Plateau has all it takes to be able to give us a good result, especially at this level. It's only when they get to Etoile that they will need to also mature, because as it progresses, you have to, you have to up your game.